The top news posts of November 10.
Monday, November 10, at 12:56 a.m. Senators take first step to end US government shutdown. Financial Times. Breaking news from Capitol Hill. Senators have taken the first steps towards ending the U.S. government shutdown. A bipartisan deal has advanced, with centrist Democrats playing a key role, opening the path to reopen the government, potentially this week.
Monday, November 10, at 12:49 a.m. SNAP Benefits Appeals Court again rejects Trump admin bid to halt full payment order. CNBC. An appeals court has once again rejected the Trump administration's bid to halt full SNAP benefit payments. However, the USDA is now reportedly ordering states to stop issuing full benefits and even undo payments already sent for November, creating a conflicting directive for food aid distribution.
Monday, November 10, at 12:33 a.m. FAA halts nearly all private jet flights at 12 major airports. Private jet card comparisons. Good evening. Widespread air travel disruption continues nationwide, with over 2,200 flights cancelled Sunday alone. Amid the chaos, the FAA has halted nearly all private jet flights at 12 major airports. These flight cuts are being called a right decision by some, linked to the ongoing government shutdown. As a result, frustrated travelers are increasingly turning to trains, car rentals, and other creative solutions to reach their destinations. Sunday, November 9, at 11:50 p.m. 11 found dead in Thai Malaysia search after Rohingya migrant boat sinks. Reuters. A Rohingya migrant boat from Myanmar has capsized off Malaysia. Search teams report at least 7 bodies recovered, some outlets citing up to 11 dead. While a dozen were rescued, hundreds are now feared missing as search operations continue.
Sunday, November 9, at 11:48 p.m. Trump pardons Rudy Giuliani. Other key figures allegedly involved in efforts to overturn the 2020 election. ABC News.com. Former President Donald Trump has issued pardons for several key figures involved in efforts to overturn the 2020 election. The list includes Rudy Giuliani, Mark Meadows, and Sidney Powell, as well as others linked to the fake elector scheme.
Sunday, November 9, at 11:03 p.m. Trump renews attacks on Obamacare in new push over government shutdown. The New York Times. President Trump is escalating his battle against Obamacare, now proposing a direct payment system for Americans' healthcare costs. From his Florida golf course, Trump's call to replace the Affordable Care Act has found support among Senate Republicans. However, Congressman Adam Schiff quickly dismissed the plan amidst ongoing Senate divisions over ACA subsidies and the government shutdown.
Sunday, November 9, at 10:41 p.m. Gavin Newsom slams pathetic shutdown deal as surrender. The Daily Beast. The 40-day U.S. government shutdown is nearing an end, but not without significant Democratic dissent. California Governor Gavin Newsom blasted the deal as pathetic and a surrender. Senators Warren and Markey reject it, citing a lack of healthcare provisions. Oregon and Hawaii's Democratic senators also plan to vote no, with critics calling the agreement malpractice and vowing the fight isn't over. It's Democrat versus Democrat as the resolution looms. Sunday, November 9, at 10:22 p.m. Typhoon Fenghuang blows away from the Philippines, leaving 2 dead and 14 million displaced. App News. Super Typhoon Fenghuang is now moving away from the Philippines, but not before leaving a path of destruction. The powerful storm left at least 2 people dead and displaced over 1.4 million residents. Many who fled described the terrifying impact as the end of the world.
Sunday, November 9, at 10 p.m. Exclusive: the Nord Stream investigation that's splintering Europe over Ukraine. The Wall Street Journal. The Nord Stream investigation is now a major point of contention, threatening to splinter Europe. This complex probe is not only fueling widespread mistrust across the continent but also risking crucial EU support for Kyiv, further complicating the geopolitical landscape.
Sunday, November 9, at 8:27 p.m. BBC leaders quit after backlash over edit of Trump's January 6 speech in documentary Axios. Breaking news from the BBC, where several top leaders have resigned amid significant controversy. The broadcaster's chair, news CEO, and director are stepping down following a widespread backlash. The turmoil centers on the editing of a Donald Trump speech from January 6 in a recent documentary. While the outgoing news CEO denies claims of institutional bias, one former editor described the resignations as an internal coup. The BBC chair is now set to respond to members of Parliament regarding the developments.
Sunday, November 9, at 4:31 p.m. Some UPS and FedEx planes are grounded. What does that mean for holiday shipping? NPR. Good evening. Tragic news from Louisville, Kentucky, where a fiery UPS plane crash has claimed 14 lives. Loved ones are now identifying victims following the devastating incident, which the local fire chief described as unprecedented. In response, the FAA has grounded all MD-11 flights. This, alongside other grounded UPS and FedEx planes, raises concerns for holiday shipping.
Sunday, November 9, at 3:11 p.m. Abigail Spanberger says Democrats' election wins aren't a green light to extend shutdown. NBC News. Abigail Spanberger is the new governor-elect of Virginia. She's wasted no time outlining her priorities, stating her first executive orders will focus on affordability. Spanberger also sent a clear message regarding national politics, declaring that recent Democratic election victories should, absolutely not, be used to justify a government shutdown. Her win, alongside other women, marks a significant Democratic resurgence across the Commonwealth.
Sunday, November 9, at 2:53 p.m. Ecuador prison riot leaves 4 inmates dead and dozens injured. CBS News. A deadly prison riot in Ecuador has left at least 31 inmates dead. Reports detail 27 victims were asphyxiated, with 4 others shot. The violence reportedly ignited over inmate transfers to a maximum security prison.
Sunday, November 9, at 2:53 p.m. Hero of Israel. After 11 years in Hamas captivity, Lieutenant Hadar Golden's body brought home. The Times of Israel. Good evening. After a decade in Hamas captivity, the body of Lieutenant Hadar Golden, hailed as a hero of Israel, has finally been brought home. Golden's remains, held by Hamas since 2014, were recently handed over. This exchange also saw Israel return 15 bodies to Gaza, following the identification of other hostage remains. The focus now turns to the 5 hostages whose remains are still believed to be in Gaza, as the region grapples with continued attacks. Sunday, November 9, at 2:37 p.m. Trump floats using tariff revenue to send 2,000 checks to Americans. Here's how that could hurt people in the long run. Business Insider. Former President Trump is floating a new economic proposal, distributing $2,000 checks to Americans, funded by tariff revenue. Dubbed a tariff dividend, the payments would reportedly go to most individuals, with higher earners potentially excluded. While the Trump campaign details how these funds would be issued, some experts caution the plan could have long-term financial downsides.